Alright guys, welcome back. So this is a review for Haves and Have-Nots, Season 4, Episode 6, Making Millions. So we start off this episode with Hannah taking, little Quincy to the hospital. She's running. And she finally gets to the hospital and she's sweating. And she gets Quincy. A doctor, a nurse takes him, and poor little Quincy. For a while we were speculating that, oh crap, did they give that poor boy drugs? Did they give that poor boy drugs? And I'm like, why would they only know what his situation is? It actually turns out he has lupus. I was like, oh, damn. He has lupus and he also has asthma. And we're all thinking, how the hell did the doctors dropped the ball when he was in the hospital? How did they not tell Hannah? How did they not know to tell Hannah? That's the really odd part. Because normally they go over stuff like that regardless. So someone dropped the ball there because she was like, what? I didn't know that. And they were like, yeah. And so she was like, huh? And it was like, yeah. And it was like, oh my God. And so he was like, go to work, Hannah. He was like, leave. You can't be here. He's in intensive care. Intensive care? It's like, yeah. He's in intensive care. And you can't see him until tomorrow. It's like, we'll keep him essentially sedated until he wakes up tomorrow. She was like, are you sure? She was like, yes, ma'am. Do you promise? He's like, yes, I promise. Yes, ma'am. It's like, all right, I'll be back tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning. Do you hear me? That's my baby in there. I'll be back tomorrow morning. So next we get to, what's his name? We get to Benny, and he's at his tow yard, and he's going and getting supplies to deal with Quincy. Bubble wrap, a shovel, cleaning solutions. And so then his buddy, who is working with him, is pissed because he's like, look, where's War and where's you? I didn't come here to just do all of your work. You're not going to go and fool me. Yo, you're not going anywhere. Where are you going? He's like, I have to handle something. It's like, handle what? Handle this business right here. You can't go anywhere. And he was like, he kept closing the door. And I'm like, if you close that door two more times, Benny get him. And so then he actually looked to see what the materials were. And he was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And Benny was like, look, don't worry about it. I'm handling the situation right now. You feel me? And then he realized, okay, this is something serious. I didn't know anything. I didn't see anything type of thing. So he just let it go. It was like, yeah, but I don't like that guy. That guy's going to be trouble. We already know that he's going to be trouble, but he's really going to be trouble. So Jeffrey is still at Wyatt's parents' house, and Jeffrey's bugging out because Wyatt is saying how, yeah, by tomorrow I'll get my money because Jennifer, the DA, she called him and told him, you know what, you passed the drug test. And Wyatt was like, oh, so you're surprised? And she didn't really answer that. She just kind of glanced over and started talking about something else. So she was like, yeah, and your mom's actually going to get out tomorrow, so you may want to find a place to stay by tomorrow morning. And he was like, all right. Jeffrey's still bugging because it's like, Wyatt, I know you. And he was like, what do you mean? It was like, that money's not good for you. You can't handle it. We already know what he's trying to say without saying it. You have a drug problem. You have control issues. You will go and waste all of that money because he was already looking at a really expensive car. Sorry, guys, I'm congested. A really expensive car, and Jeffrey's like, damn, and he's drinking and all of this, and he knows that he's just going to go and waste the money. He's going to blow through the money, and he won't have anything left, and he might end up on someone's newspaper dead. And Jeffrey's concerned. But he's not going to phrase it to Wyatt like that. He's just going to be like, I know you. I know you. And Wyatt keeps playing around with him because Wyatt's like, dude, you're supposed to be my friend. This whole thing is so weird because you're in love with me. And Wyatt and Jeffrey's like, yes. Yes, I am in love with you. And he's like, Wyatt, stop acting like such a bitch. And I was thinking the same thing. But, because we know how Wyatt is. So I was thinking the same thing. But, Jeffrey was like, you know what? I'm leaving. I'm going. I'm out of here. He was like, what hotel are you staying at? What is it? The Radisson? Whatever it was called. And he was saying, okay, why don't you go and save me the presidential suite? And Jeffrey was like, what? Because I'm assuming that costs a ridiculous amount of money. He was like, alright, whatever. But whose money is Jeffrey using? Because we know he doesn't have any of his own. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Whose money is Jeffrey using? But aside from that, we have Wyatt still kind of playing around with Jeffrey. And Jeffrey was like, oh, so I'm going to go because clearly you don't love yourself enough to get yourself together and to do what's right. Wyatt says, well, I don't have to because you love me more. And he was like, well, if I loved you so much, then you definitely wouldn't be who you are and acting the way you are. I was like, ooh. And Wyatt was basically like, well, it doesn't matter because I'll be singing to the tune of $12 million. And I'm like, damn, how old is Wyatt? How old is Wyatt? And Jeffrey leaves, but he still looks back at Wyatt just carrying on because he's getting all that money and Jeffrey's still in love. So we have that. Hold on, guys. So yeah, we get to Benny. He's cleaning up the mess. And Candice is like, so, well, what are you doing? You know, I was like, what does it look like I'm doing? Clean up the mess. And so she's like, all right, where's Quincy? He was like, I couldn't take him out of the house. She was like, what do you mean you couldn't take him out of the house? I couldn't take him out of the house because your neighbor, your nosy neighbor, has a camera planted right in front of your door. She gets to see everything that happens right in front of your door. Candice, knowing who you are, how did you not know that? I'm like, damn, Candice was really slipping living in this neighborhood. So Benny had to go and bury Quincy in her backyard. Candice is like, I can't believe this. How could you? And he's like, girl, what the hell's wrong with you? What do you mean, how could I? You can't believe what? And so Benny was saying, so where's Jeffrey? How's Jeffrey? And he was just like, Jeffrey's cool. I found him. He's at the, he's with Wyatt. He's at the Crier's house. He was like, okay, did Jeffrey talk? She was like, no, Jeffrey didn't talk. He was like, are you sure? And he was like, yeah, I'm sure. It was like, all right, I'm gonna take a shower. I have to, can you clean my clothes? Because I can't come in dirty, come back out dirty because I came in clean. You know how that nosy neighbor is. She's like, okay, yeah, sure. So Hannah is screwed. Hannah is screwed because she can't stay at that hotel anymore. She, because of the fact that Lil Quincy has asthma and also lupus, he has to stay in a clean environment. And so they were just saying how the doctor was saying that she has to keep him in a very sterile environment. She has to also get his medication, which is very expensive. And I'm thinking to myself, Hannah, how are you going to afford that medication? How are you going to afford the medication? How are you? And so maybe she might take out a loan from the Criers. Who knows? Because right now she doesn't have the money. She didn't even have, what was it, like $18 to get to the hospital. She only had $9. And, so after that, we have David, who is, he pays the guard off to leave the room while he talks to Veronica. Now, he's trying to figure out where Veronica lives. At first, I was like, damn, why the hell do you want to know that? And then I forgot, because there's a hit out on her. Now, he can't tell her that here. So, he's trying to figure out where she is so that he can go and take care of the kill order that's been placed on her. But, you know, Veronica's stubborn, and it's a control issue. And so, she's just like, nah. And so, then he tries to do some reverse psychology stuff, and has the guards come back in to take him out, because he's like, alright, so who's the guy? Who's the guy in the picture? And she's like, oh, you want to know about that? Alright, well, I was on my knees, and he was like, oh, I don't want to hear this. And she was like, David, don't go, this is the best part. She was like, David, don't go. I'm like, Veronica, you had your man on your side, but because of how you were acting, you screwed it up. And then we get to Jeffrey, who goes back to Candice's house. He doesn't go in, and the nosy neighbor's watching him ponder going in, but then he doesn't, because he doesn't have his keys. His keys, I guess, are still in the house, but he doesn't want to deal with the situation in the house, so he ends up not going in. And the neighbor is just like, I don't like her. This is a quiet neighborhood. That house is a monstrosity. It is too modern for a neighborhood like this. She is a woman of the night. You can't tell me any different. No, is she a lady of the night or of the evening? There were two men that came in there. One came back out and went right back in. The other guy never left. And so it's like, oh crap, she's thinking of Quincy. She's thinking of Quincy and Benny. And so Jeffrey's bugging out because he's thinking, wait a minute. I know Quincy's one of them. Who the hell's the other one? And she was just like, she doesn't belong here. That house doesn't belong here. This is a traditional neighborhood. We don't want her here. I don't like someone like her here in this neighborhood. So that was what is it called? Suburban white talk for, girl, not only are you black, you're trying to change things. You do not fit here. Go away. It's fine if you're black, as long as you're the sophisticated, aloof, friendly black. Not the whatever I think you are over there, potentially a harlot black. Unmarried self, unwed self, with all those men walking in your house. I know what's going on. And it's like, well, maybe a year or two ago you might have been right. But that's not the case at all. You are completely wrong in this situation. So, what's his name? David invites Brandon. Brandon is the guy who conned Candice out of her money. And he got, technically out of Jim's money and got it back to David. And here's the thing. David still loves his wife. So he's trying to figure out any angle he can to go and save her. So he's just like, look, do you know about a hit order on my wife? And he's like, no. And it's like, can you find out how to cancel this hit order to protect her? And it's like, alright, so where is she? And he was like, I don't know where she lives. He's like, you don't know where your wife lives? He was like, no, I don't know where my wife lives. And he thinks to himself, alright. So David gives him the newspaper, and he was just like, oh, David. He was like, what? Yeah, I know. Yes, that's my wife in the picture. I don't know who that guy is. Don't worry about it. Just find out where she lives. Figure something out. Call the hit. Do something. Because he was saying how my wife is a great lawyer. If she doesn't want to be found, she won't be found. She'll bury her business in an LLC, in a trust, in another LLC, in another trust, in a government bond, in a shoe closet. You get the point. So, after that, we get to Candice telling Benny about what she was trying to do. And Benny was like, you know what, you're such a liar. I'm done with you. I'm absolutely done with you. This is it. The house is legit? Are you sure the house is legit? The businesses are legit. It's like, yes. Everything was paid for legitimately. It's all mine. I own it all. I own it all. And she was like, yeah, I was trying to take the bar, but it didn't work out that way. It was like, Candice, it's always something with you. You're always lying. You're always trying to pull something. And Candice was just saying how, you know, I need you to do one thing. It'll make you millions. She's like, no, I am done with you. There's always a con. There is always a con. It's Candice Young. It's like, damn it. But then she just goes on and continues. She tells him about, look, I know who hit you and killed that little girl. He was like, say what? Yeah, I know who did it. It was Wyatt. Wyatt Cryer. Yes, the same Cryers. Hey, take a look. And how you really know? It's like, he admitted it to me. I went to the house and he admitted it to me. And Benny was just like, word? It's like, yeah. So she was saying how, you know, he's going to get millions. They have millions. All you have to do is form an official lawsuit against them and you'll get millions. And so then Benjamin was like, Schmur? That would be something. I'm like, damn, Benny. You go and you're pissed at her for all this other stuff, even though you also wanted to kill, what's his name? Kill Quincy yourself. And you end up changing your tune as soon as you say you could get millions legitimately. Okay. We'll see how this goes. Because I was trying to figure out how the hell they're going to pay for everything. Realistically. So after that, we get to the police department. And the police are calling Quincy's sister. Because there was blood splatter in her car. So they're testing the blood. Jeffrey, thankfully, he saved himself by saying he hit a deer. But they're doing a DNA test. They'll find out that it was human blood. And I'm like, damn. So everyone's going down this year. Everyone is going down. No one is safe this year. So she calls. And she's like, no, I don't want to talk to the police. No, I don't want to talk to the police. Yell it out. It's like, why you in my car? And it was like, well, do you know why there's blood? It was like, no, I don't know why there's blood in there. And then it was like, yeah, I'll go to the station and get my car. And she was like, no, I don't know who Jeffrey Harrington is. And then she turns off the phone. It's like, oh, I knew something was wrong. I can't find Quincy. Now there's blood in my car. My car was stolen by a Cryer. By a Harrington? What's going on? So, Tyler tries to play us. And for a moment, I was thinking that Quincy rose from the dead and he was coming to get Candice. But no, it was War. War snuck into her house. And, because remember, she's being watched as well. So that's the other thing. So War snuck into her house. And now, he's like, Candy, time's running out. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And she was like, look, I know. I'll get your money. I'm gonna sue the Cryers. Because you know, Benny, of course you know Benny. Benny was hit by the Cryer's son. So we can sue him and get millions. And he was like, oh, word? But that's going to take longer than a week. And she was like, yeah, I know. You know this is going to take me some time. No, Candy Cane. I might just have to kill you now. It was like, you know, you was beloved once. You was beloved once. But not no more. No more. Yeah. And so, she was like, all right, I'll get your money. I'll get your money by this week. And she was like, I won't run. I promise I won't run. I won't run. And he was like, yeah, I know you'll try. She was like, I know you'll kill me. He's like, no, I'll kill your brother. She was like, what? But we were cool since we were little. I was like, you know this is business, and this is your fault. And like, Candice, yeah, this is all your fault. She was just giving him his money. The first time. Anyway, we have David go to his hotel room, and he has this sexy, hold on. So, David has sex with Maggie Day. Finally, at this point, I'm like, you know what, I can't be mad at David. He's been doing so much right, he should at least get something, even though he is married. And so then, he does his initial, oh, you know, it's like, oh, I still love my wife, I know this is wrong. And she was like, oh, David, I'm so sorry. It's just like, sigh, shut up. Come here. So that was pretty much the episode. I was like, David. Just get it, David. So it's going to be weird because Hannah's going to talk to Wyatt. And it's funny because Hannah seems to be the only one that can get through to Wyatt, which is a really interesting turn of events. Candice has an intervention with the child services woman that aided Hannah in getting Candice's son. It looks like Quincy's people are going to find Candice's house, and Candice's nosy neighbor is going to intervene. So that's going to be something. Please come back next week. Please like, comment, subscribe. Again, see you next week. It's like 4 something in the morning right now. I have to get ready for work.